I'm talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because Master Farad Muhammad gave 25,000 holy names out, but only one person saw who he was, and that's who Master Farad Muhammad came over here looking for. He came looking for his uncle, not his cousin. The uncle is the what? Brother of his father. That's right, sir. Okay? So he found him in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In the name of the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, I said Most Honorable. I know he say don't say that, but I just said it. Minister Farrakhan, who is the best student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'd like to greet you in the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And I'm awaiting him speaking to us Sunday. And as you know, I'm on his research team. But let me explain to you how that happens. Okay, we don't go into the minister and tell the minister what he's going to speak about. We go and the minister tells us, he just talks and he tells us when he said, I think that's a speech. And we record it and then we give it back to him, what he said. And he might ask us to look up some words or check this thing here or that. That's what we do. So don't get it twisted. That we the scientists sitting around the minister. Okay? Don't get it twisted. All right? But it is an honor to be around him and to get it firsthand before y'all get it. And we try to keep our mouths shut, not tell it before he tell it. He said, just let me tell it. But boy, y'all are in for a Sunday. That's one that you know. Praise be to Allah. We all will be in for a Sunday. And he told us then, he don't know what he's going to say. He said he won't know until then, but it's going to be earth-shattering. Because there's 100% dissatisfaction on the planet now. Wow. You know, white folks is dissatisfaction. That's right. It's 100% dissatisfaction. So what we're going to talk about is we started a little group on the phone called Separation of Death, conference call. And I asked the minister, could we do it? Could we set up this Separation of Death conference call based on his Separation of Death speech? And he said, sure, you can do it. He said, but it doesn't matter what y'all do. Allah will make us separate. Wow. And that's the spirit that he's in, and that's the time that we're in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, folks. You will either have to leave or you will have to die. This is about to go down. And Mr. Farrakhan said Trump is taking America to hell, rocket ship, and he got his feet to the metal, to the pit. He pumping out that smoke, and they going down fast. So, what are we going to do? What are our people going to do? We're going to have to formulate for them something to see as an example. Right. So that they won't panic and shoot and kill one another, wind up eating one another. Because this is the whole plan. It's made us flip out. Okay? So that we destroy ourselves. Because they can't destroy us. Right. That's right. That's right. Okay? All they can do is to get us to flip out. So we destroy ourselves. Okay? So what we're trying to do in the Ministry of Agriculture and this committee, now it's growing into, it's time to leave, is to give our people some hope by seeing. I ain't trying to keep Jesse Jackson's hope alive, but show our people some hope about what we can do so that they don't freak out. Okay? So they can come to us and we got the plan, we can show them how to do it. So that's what we're talking about here today. So this morning, we had a very great session. Great session with some people who are doing it. And we're going to continue that process and actually have a chance for you all to do some work. How about that? Yes, sir. You know, when you deal with Dr. Richard Lee, you're going to wind up doing some work.
That's right.
That's what we do at Muhammad Farm.
That's right.
We work, and sure, we put everybody to work who come out there.
That's right.
And now that you're in my control, like the door, I'm going to put you to work, but you're going to enjoy it, inshallah. So, I'm going to do a little thing, and then I'm going to have Brother Gerald to do this thing, about 5 minutes in his thing. And then if she wants to add anything, she can. Then we're going to Brother Horatio, who's going to carry the day because he's going to put us into groups. He's going to explain some things to us about how you go about developing community, and he's going to put you into groups to, in fact, to develop some ideas which he's going to explain to you. And excuse me if I'm mumbled, Mr. Farr kind of told us about that. We eat our words instead of speaking strongly. But it's hard to speak strongly on issues that you are thinking about all the process. But anyway, I hope you all get something out of our little talk. But now let's do what Dr. Ridley does the best. He does it powerful. It keeps me on point. Okay, farming, community of the future. This is Muhammad Farms. We got it in 1994, 1,600 acres, which is 1,300 football fields. Okay, I want you to imagine keeping the weeds out of 1,300 football fields without killing them. That's what you imagine. Okay. The Million Man March. Now let's go back. Previous. All right, look. 1994, November. He gets the farm back. He puts me on the post in 1995, February of 1995. Okay? Now, I want you to imagine what the white man saw. Okay? Mr. Farrakhan goes back into farming. Then he brings 2 million men on the steps of the Capitol.
Wow.
90% of those were Christians.
Wow.
And he set the chant up of Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, sir.
And they responded.
Responded. Yes, sir. That's right.
Now, I was there that day.
Yes,
Us
sir.
too.
And I got nervous. Because I said, oh, Allahu Akbar. These crackers ain't going out like this. They ain't gonna just let us walk up to the Capitol and take over. The whole world saw that.
The whole world.
Right.
You come on the Capitol, ran Congress out, ran the president out.
That's right. Left town.
Left town.
That's right.
And when we left town, nobody could even tell we was there.
That's right.
Right.
Now, I don't know what y'all know about special ops
Yes, sir.
in the military.
Yes, sir.
That's what they do. They go into an area, they do what they do, and they slide out, and you ain't supposed to see a clue. That's what we did. With 2 million men
2 million.
on a Monday.
Monday morning.
We're not paid.
That's right. You did not pay.
Okay? Now, what did the enemy see? And he saw we buying land. See, all them revolutionary talking Negroes, we got a bean pie, nigga. We can feed our troops, and they definitely can be regular.
Go ahead, doctor. Go ahead.
Okay? So they saw that. Said, oh man, he's going back into farming, and he got an army.
Wow.
So what they decided to do, and I knew it that day, but I said, Dr. Ridgely, don't be busting people's bubbles. They're going to sink this country. See, this is, Europe is their home, man. They came over here to do their due. If they can't control it, they're just sinking. With us in it, and the Pope crackers with them. Haven't you noticed? I used to notice at the airports, all the little cute white girls, you see the airports, they not there no more. It's all you got left is the scrubs. The white people got money already gone. And the one in the middle are selling everything they can to the Chinese so they can go.
Right.
Okay, they're going to leave this sucker here. Like a roach bomb. Throw it in here, and we sort of fight and kill one another over the scraps because they're going to cut it. This morning I talked to y'all about this city, Richland, Georgia, where water bills were 4 or 5, and one water bill was $5,000. Water bill for home.
Wow.
They're draining the people to pay the debt that somebody left on them, and that's the debt that this country is leaving on us. It's no mistake that it's up to $26 trillion and going up. They acting like they're confused. They can't make, no, they know exactly what they're doing. They're setting it up so when we take over, there'll be nothing there but debt that we owe to China and Japan. That the Jews stole information from our military and gave it to China. That's not China got advanced. Israel did that. Remember Pollock? Y'all remember that guy named Pollock? What's his name? Robert Pollock? Spine? You don't sell that to China. That's why China is progressed. These Jews intend to set a bomb off and kill everybody. That we thank for Allah, we got something for him. We got something for him. It ain't ours, but our God brought it with him when he came. But let's go back to the slides. Million Man March, Game Changer number 16. Please go to MuhammadFarms.com and look up the Game Changers. Mr. Farrakhan should not be evaluated as an orator. He should be evaluated as a general. But he will tell you that he is not the master of his generalship. He just follows orders from Allah and his Christ. So the minister started farming with 1,600 acres. From 1996 to 2000, the government slashed commodity prices in half to make sure we could not make a profit from farming. Wow. Now he said this, oh come on Dr. Richard, you mean they cut it just because of us? You don't know that heck we are yet, do you? You Muslims, you black Muslims, y'all know who we are yet, do you? Y'all is important, you understand that? Right. Whatever you do is important.
Listen. That's right.
Okay? Then the government in 1997 set up a fake black farmer lawsuit. Because in 1995, when they saw them 2 million men, they knew what was coming next. Reparations. So they jumped ahead of the game. Put this Jew boy named Al Pyrie ahead of the black farmers lawsuit. Gave a fake, it was a loss, it wasn't a win. Y'all don't know that. Let me shoot down here. You see that right there? Who that? That's me. Going to jail. Okay. We've gone to jail 3 times in Washington, D.C. trying to get the media to pay attention to the fact that we got took. The black farmers got took. I mean, I didn't get took. I was helping them because we did not, the Nation of Islam did not own a farm at that time to qualify to go and get the money from that lawsuit. But because they came to me for help, I went to the minister said help them, so I helped them best that I could to do what I know wasn't going to work. Okay? You're not, government ain't going to pay. It ain't going to fix things. Right. The government is the problem. Now, so we were told CNN, ABC, CBS, all of them, look, we're going in front of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We're not just going to go with signs. We busted in. We busted into the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And sure enough, we got put in jail every time, and not one camera showed up. Wow. I had someone to take a picture of me so I would have it on record, but they didn't. Nobody came. 4 times, 3 or 4 times. I mean, 3 times I went, 4 times in total. Turns out I went to jail, but 4 times, not a mumbling word. Y'all know nothing about it, do you?
No, sir.
Nothing about it. We were protesting because the farmers did not go to get no $50,000. The reason for the lawsuit, there was 3,000 farms that was under foreclosure by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. 3,000 farmers, black farmers. We was going to get them out of debt, out of foreclosure. That was the original reason for the lawsuit. But Al Pyrie turned it into some $50,000 mess, and he opened it up to anybody who could just say, I wanted to farm between 1986 and 1997. They had to prove that they was farming, and the farmers who were farming had to prove that the money they didn't get, a white boy got in the same year. They didn't get it, but they did not have discovery because it was out of court settlement, so they couldn't go and get the records of the white farmer to prove that he got the money, so it was eeny, meeny, miny, mo. They chose who would get the money, and the 3,000 farmers who were being foreclosed on by the U.S. Department of Agriculture did not win, did not prevail, and over time they have taken these people's land. And you don't know nothing about it. Okay? This is what we talk, this is war. Okay? You know, marijuana, okay, you know, they kill us with marijuana and drugs, but guess what? You ain't got to take marijuana and drugs, but you got to eat. See? Right? If you want to get rid of 5-6 billion people, you do it through the food and through the water. Okay. There's 2 million acres of land that's in inventory that belong to black farmers. That's what we went to court for, but they gave us this crap. This consent decree that was a setup because it was setting up Al Pyrie to do something to us, and I'll get to that in a minute. Now, game changer number 23. In 2008, at the Minutes for Reparations, let me go back one spot, I forgot to show y'all that. Okay. Then what I talk about, we got the farm in 94, started farming in 95. This is cotton prices, that's corn prices, that's wheat prices, that's soybean prices. You see how they, 96, they were at their peak. 96, they came up with a law called the Freedom to Fail. The white farmers called the Freedom to Fail Bill. It was called the Freedom to Farm Bill, but the farmers called it the Freedom to Fail Bill. Because when it happened, it removed the government subsidies, they kept the prices high and dropped the prices from 1996 to 2001, dropped them in half, cut the prices in half. Okay? They wiped out a lot of farmers in that process. But to those farms who they say were sued for survival, they got government money. Okay? We got government money at Muhammad Farms because I knew how to do the paperwork. Every farm deserved it, but then Glenn Beck went on then all the newspapers wrote about Mr. Farrakhan is living off the government money. So Mr. Farrakhan said, give him the money back. What about $140,000? This one cracker down there in southwest Georgia in our county, who used to be the head of the county commissions, in the same period that we got $140,000, he got $6 million.
Good Lord.
One cracker. There was 100 crackers that got over $100,000, I mean $1 million. And 100 that got over $1 million, and another 100 that got over $500,000. In a period that we got 140,000. Okay? So they've been living, that's how black farmers know how to farm, but the white farmers know how to farm the government. Okay? That's how they're still in business. However, Trump is threatened to cut the U.S. Department of Agriculture by 20%. When he does that, these white farmers ain't gonna farm. They're gonna sell everything to China and get out of here.
No food.
They're not gonna do it. And China, when they grow their food, it ain't for you. They got the ships, they're buying the ports, the grain elevators. When they grow their crop in Iowa, in the Midwest, they put it on the train, they put it on the boat, take it to China.
Wow.
I just want to let you know. Now you can find all this out on the internet if you can Google it right. That's the right question. You can find all this out. This ain't no secret. Y'all on Facebook and everything, playing with each other and crazy stuff. Go to Google and put in some decent questions. You find out a whole lot of stuff that's going on.
Right.
But they know if you don't have a decent question, it's just like putting information. Somebody said, Dr. Richard, when you can write a book, I said, somebody told me that I should stop hiding truth from my people by putting it in the book, so I'm not writing another one. Okay, so these prices went up and they went down because of the Freedom to Fail bill. Now, in 2000, Mr. Farrakhan said at a rally, Millions for Reparations, we cannot accept a cash payment because a fool and his money will soon part. As a nation within a nation, we need land as a base of economic and political independence. We cannot settle for some little jive token. We need billions of acres of land that black people can build and use for ourselves. Now, what Al Pyrie had done, since he won this $2.35 billion settlement, he became on the dream team with Ogletree and the rest of the reparations dream team. Okay? But I busted his behind. I went to the dream team in the Congressional Black Caucus and I explained to them exactly what he had done and what he's doing, that he's going to get black people to get $50,000 each, but they're going to have to prove that they are a descendant of a slave. The only way they can do that is to give up their DNA. Once they got your DNA, they're going to place it. It is you got a crime anytime they want.
Wow.
All right? But Allah blessed us to bust him out of there, and then the minister comes straight up with the reparations group. We're not going for no cash. We want land.
Right.
Okay? But black people don't want no land. How I know this? I was in the biggest 10, 10, 15. I was there for 10, 11, 15 the next day. And Mr. Farrakhan had them all together and said, what we need 100 million acres of land. And they said, oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And we need some banks.
All right.
Who was there? You still are, right? They acted, they would buck wild, jump out their seats when we talk about we need some banks. But when he said we need 100 million acres of land, it was polite applause. Polite applause. Okay? So don't be playing me. I know you don't want it. You don't want to do it, but guess what? You're going to be forced to do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, 1910, we had 16 million acres of land. We had 60% of the farms in Mississippi were ours. 50% of the farms in South Carolina were ours. 40 to 50% of the farms in Louisiana, Alabama, and Georgia were ours. Okay? We lost all of that. We gave it up. They ran us out. They ran us up north from 1910 to 1960s. You had push and pull. The push was the KKK. The pull was the jobs and the NAACP. Okay? Push you out the country, push you in the cities, pull you in the city, offer you opportunities. Ain't no more opportunities now. And you're still in the cities looking for opportunities. Opportunities that done gone. They done gone to China, to the Philippines, to India. Opportunity done gone. You got to make your own opportunity.
Yes.
Now, this is the inventions we had coming out of slavery, and they peaked around 1890. And here's the lynchings, 1890, 1890s. You see that right here? These are the lynchings. So they broke us from inventing. Okay? Here's the acres of land. They broke us, and we started giving it up. They broke us, we stopped inventing. And then something happened in 1930, and they stopped lynching us to a large degree. There was no change in the law. What happened in 1930? Came the personal master Muhammad in 1930, and he told them, I got a plan. See, he didn't have to come to America to kill white folks. We as Muslims and Nation of Islam have to understand that. He didn't have to come to America to kill white folks. So we waiting on, when did he go kill white folks? He didn't come over here to kill white folks. He came over here to get us. So the hold up is us. Not him, us. We're holding on to the white man's world. We're in debt. We don't want to let go. You know how you catch a monkey? You put some jewels or some nuts in a tree. You cut a hole in the tree, just big enough for the monkey to put his hands in it. He'll grab hold to the nuts. And he won't let go. And he's stuck there until the monkey hunter comes, and the first thing he does, he cuts off his head, then he cuts off his hand. That's how you catch a monkey. Then let loose. All you got to do is let loose. All right. I mean, Brownwood, Georgia. 20 years ago, when we got to Brownwood, Georgia, downtown Brownwood, Georgia looked like this. Most of the businesses were closed at the time, but they were still there. Downtown Georgia, Brownwood, Georgia. Oh, by the way, it's called Brownwood because it was originally Brown's Station. And when they incorporated, they took the W out so it would not be Brown anymore. This is just the history of the business. This is what it looks like now. See that? This guy, you see that Rainey? Well, Rainey, they had a used car lot. And it grew so big when now it's there. That's where you fix the cars up after he repossesses them and repairs them. Now these cars are just the ones he's fixing up. You have to drive around to see how many lots he got of cars in Brownwood. He has 7 used car dealerships in the Southwest Georgia area. I have never seen anybody who owns that many vehicles before. So we're talking about economic development. He got 10 to 15 people now working. See each of them bays right there? Them are bays. Okay? So about people working on the cars that he's selling by the week to black people in Southwest Georgia. Okay? And how he's able to do it was a piece of technology that he can shut your car down no matter where you are, find out where you are, and come pick it up. You understand what I'm saying? You got a GPS in there, and no matter where you are, he can shut you down if you ain't paid it. Shut you down, you can't start it again, he come and pick it up. And that's how he's able to make sure he don't lose no money on no vehicles. That's why he can let them out all over Southwest Georgia. He can let them out because he can always get them back in. And people paying by the week. The down payment is when he paid for the car at the auction. Hello.
Right.
That's economic development. I'm bringing this up to say that, all you need is an idea and a market. You can make something happen if you have an idea and a market. Now, he had to wait until his sons got old enough, his 3 sons, so they drive the trucks to go and pick the cars up. To repossess the cars. This is all a family deal, and I'm telling you, I have never seen nobody, except at a big auction, that many cars that he has at downtown Brownwood. He got all the buildings down, and he got a number of cars there, and then at his farm. It is incredible the number of cars that he has at his farm. Plus, he got 7 dealerships in Southwest Georgia. So what I'm saying is, economic development is based on an idea and a product and a way to get it distributed. Okay? When people think of economic development, they just think of, well, look at it, them buildings there, we can fix them buildings up, and we can put a barber shop, and we can put a beauty shop, it's good. We can put a furniture store. Okay, but hell, they were 350 people in the damn town now. This is a thriving rural community at one time. But they all left for better jobs up north. So you just can't fix the buildings up and think you're developing a town. You got to have ways for people to make some money. You got to have job opportunities. You got to figure something out that's going to bring some money into the area. This cracker done figured it out. He making money off of black people selling them these used vehicles by the week that they pay the down payment, that pays for what he paid for the vehicle. And they can't walk out with him because he can shut them down and go and get the vehicle anytime they miss a payment. Okay, start all over on the same vehicle. So that's he got a system. So we got to come up with some systems of how to get paid. Not nickel and dime money. Okay, we got to get into manufacturing and the services that we can do on a large scale to make some money. Okay, not chicken feed. That means that's why we got to have some people who can sit and plan on a real tip. Not just, we're good in the nation of selling. We're the best salespeople in the world. You give me a product, I can sell it. Yummy, I got beef in my tummy. We can sell it. But can we make it? Can we get it distributed? Get the logistics straight. Get the transportation straight. Okay. Now, I mentioned this earlier. It's a mathematics of movement. If you're trying to get people to move, on their mind, they got a present situation where there's a negative and a positive. In life there's always a negative and a positive. Wherever you at, right? Now, if you have a vision and you want to go to the future, but your vision is positive, but how much positive is it over the transition cost that it's going to take you to get there?
Right.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. You're a Christian. And you a spooky Muslim too. But nobody wants to go through the transition. So you got to have enough of a vision that's more powerful.
Right.
So that's why the beauty and the gift of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he can make the vision so powerful that we would want to go through the transition to get there. Okay? So now you make a move because the 1 is greater than the 0. You start off with 0, you got 2 pluses and 1 negative, you come out with 1 plus, okay, you move. But sometimes you got to have a whole lot of negatives to make somebody move. In other words, if you put fire on one foot and you don't move, put the fire on the other foot. Okay? And he gonna move, or she gonna move. So they gonna move. Because the vision is still the same, the transition is still the same, but the fire, that's why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, Allah will make us move. The fleas don't leave till the dog done died. So the dog got to be killed to get the fleas off. Okay? So now, why do people move? Most of the time it's job opportunities, educational opportunities, marriage or divorce, retirement, a civil war or anarchy, or a vision and a mission. Okay? People are not going to just move to an area because we want them to move to an area. We better have something for them, and it's got to be something that they want. Right. You know, black folks don't do what they need. When people tell me, Dr. Richard, you know, I need to come to the farm, I said, what? You say you need? Well, you ain't coming. Then you say, I want to. Oh, okay, we can count on that. You can make that happen if you want to. The black folks will make it happen. Whatever they want to do, they'll figure out a way to do it.
That's right.
But what they need to do, they'll figure the excuse not to do it.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
All right, so you got to have a vision and a mission, but it got to be strong as heck. You know what I mean? But you know, civil war and anarchy, that's kicking up. I don't think I want to be around white folks right now.
That's true.
I can smell it. They about to kick up, boy.
That's right.
You see what's going down there in Florida? Them young kids ain't playing. All right? Now, basically, a farm community can be like this. I call them living cells. Okay? You got farming, you got people living in the middle, you got stores, you got schools, you got services, you got a manufacturing plant, you got a processing plant for the produce, for the food, and you ship it out. You trade it with somebody else who's also producing something. So you got stuff coming in and stuff going out. It's a living cell. Okay? But you got to have stuff going out and coming in for it to be a living cell. So you got to figure out something that you're going to produce. I tell people, oh, you want to go? Oh, we want to go to Detroit. Well, why do people go to Detroit in the first place? They didn't go to Detroit for the Lake Superior, or whatever lake that is. They went there because of jobs. Factory jobs. The factory jobs is gone.
Right.
So why they gonna come there? Because you want them to? Okay. Then you get a job for them. Then they come. So we say, we're going to say at the farm that we're going to take over the food industry. I say, I'm telling people, you want to go to Detroit? Why don't you get all your engineers together and design a new car, okay, that's reliable, affordable, that you can repair, and drive, thank God for that non-driving stuff, and drive, and then sell it to the world. Right. Then you can get people to move to Detroit. If you're going to manufacture there, or wherever you're going to manufacture that at, you're going to get people to move there. Okay? You got to understand why people came there in the first place, if you want to figure out how to get them back there. And if we want to get people down to Southwest Georgia, to Muhammad Farms, then we're going to have, that's why Sister Ann is doing that value processing. We're going to have to give them some jobs. Okay? I said a lot right there. I hope y'all picked all that up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam, but we're not supposed to be spooky. But I swear to God, we spooky. We do not add it up, do the math. We just deal with our feelings. That's a new Muslim community right there. Do y'all know what that is? What's that? That's the visionary. Today.
Yes, sir.
That's as simple as it gets. How you develop a town, boom, there it is.
Yes, sir.
Now, how do you keep the people there after Savior's Day? That's another issue. Right? But boom, they're all there and they all spending money. It ain't that we don't want to spend money with each other. They come through with a bullhorn down there sometimes and tell y'all to get out of there and go to the workshop. Am I right or wrong? Okay, so it ain't that we don't love one another. It ain't that we don't want to spend no money. It's just that you're too far apart. Don't you know that when the nuclear reactor, the way they slow it down is to put some rods in between them? So they put distance between us, which is the rod. It cools it down. We're going to have to get closer together so we can begin to do some trade and we can be close to one another to get that vibration. Look at all these beautiful people in here. You know it feels good when you're around the Muslims.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right.
So why don't you fix it? Figure a way to get closer together. Duh. That's all it takes to be happy. All we need is a tree with some shade so the brothers can sit around and lie. That's all we need. And we're happy. So, you know, it's simple. But it's hard because the crack understand that.
Yes, sir.
He always doing something to make you divide from your brother and sister. You go on the job. But y'all all there sitting there. Why y'all sitting together over there like?
Right.
That's right. I heard him say that.
And then if you on the job, you done figured out how you done got to ease, you done figured out, he'll move you to another site. He'll move you to, he can't stand for you to be happy. That's the only reason the cracker stays alive is to make you suffer. That's all they care about. They have what they have so that you can see it and you can't get it. It don't mean nothing if you don't know they got it and you can't get it. When they know that you want it, you can't get it, then they happy with it. But when you don't want it no more, then they don't want it because they making you suffer. Hell, you want to be, look at a white person, you want to live in that body for the rest of your life? We need to separate for their mental stability. Black don't crack. It's a shame to be around them. They see us looking like this. Looking good, man. And think how they feel.
That's right.
Real bad.
They see the same thing. They see the same thing you do. How you think how they feel? I feel sorry for them. I want to help them out. I want to leave. See, this is what Negro was afraid of right here. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma, before the attack, after the attack. That's what we're afraid of.
Come on. Yes, sir.
And Negro will tell you in a minute, if we all go off someplace by ourselves, they ain't going to do nothing but bomb us.
Yes, sir.
So they know the white man is the devil.
Come on.
Why would he hate for you to leave him? Why would he bomb you just because you left him?
See?
They know he the devil, but they scared as hell because they also believe that he God too. And they believe that we the devil.
That's right.
Black folks believe that we are the devil, that we done something wrong to deserve the wrath of God, and the white man, he the God. Jesus was wise. See? Whoop, there it is. So, this is the artistic representation of the wheel. But I want you to understand something. The wheel was up in 1929. This is 2018. You think he ain't coming with a better model? What do you think he been doing? So he put these up in 1929, you know, half mile by half mile, 1,500 baby planes. Y'all just settle with that. That's good enough for me. You think he gonna settle with that?
Right.
And he'll tell you what he got.
Right.
And how he got it going. Alright? So I ain't worried about him coming bombing me. I'm gonna do a t-shirt. I'm gonna do a t-shirt.
Listen.
And it's gonna have the mother plane. There's gonna be a long line coming out the mother plane, going down to the water. And I'm gonna be on the end of the hook, underneath the water, and I'm gonna have a Leviathan underneath the water, and I'm gonna tell him. Come on, hit me, cracker.
Right.
Got something for you.
Right.
See, we are the baby. All we have to do is obey.
Right.
And then at the end, he's gonna jump. And when he jump, hold on, I can take him out.
Yes, sir.
Not only will Allah take him out, but when he take him out, the whole world will say, all praise is due to Allah. When he came, each person all praise is due to Allah. Not the spook Allah, not the spook Allah.
Right.
But the one who came in the person of Allah. All we got to do is do what we're supposed to do, follow the instructions that we've been given. Let the white man see that we love Farrakhan and we're going to make it happen. And then he's going to jump us and then God going to kill him. It's simple as that.
That's right.
Simple. You ain't got to get no gun. Come on down to Muhammad Farm and start building up around us and see what they do. They already got the 8th Infantry out there at Fort Benning. They brought in. Ain't no money in Fort Knox. They all down there in Columbus, Georgia.
That's right.
53 miles from the farm. They got the 8th Infantry and the tank squadron. Ready to roll onto the highway to roll over to the farm. I know that. They fly over us.
Come on.
We wave at them. When you gonna shoot them? You scared? You scared? See, I don't get a chance to teach too much because, see, sometimes I scare people. I ain't playing, bro. I want some action. So with that, Brother Gerald.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You getting ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next will be Brother Gerald. Let's go. Make it happen.
In the name of Allah, came the first message of our Muhammad. We thank him.
Just slow down. Slow down. Slow down. We didn't hire you to be a speaker. All right? So just tell us what you got to say and do your thing because you're the bad man on that thing that you do at your farm. Your little farm out there. Mississippi. The world needs to know. Go ahead.
Okay, question. What is the best way to preserve food? What is the best way to preserve food? Here, canning. Anybody else? Hydration. Refrigeration. Come on, Brother Carlton. You're cute. It's your cute. But no, there's another way. There's another way. And here it comes. What? I heard it. What? Freeze drying. Yes, exactly. Okay, we got a short little clip, and I want you to pay close attention to it. And there's a question and answer session right afterwards. Okay, so pay close attention to this 1 minute, 53-second clip.
Can't hear you, sir. Can't hear you.
Okay, watch the clip. Watch the clip.
Transported to our troops in Europe. Later, the U.S. began using freeze drying for military meals and for NASA's space program because it preserved all of the flavor.
Good job.
This appliance is the most amazing invention for the home since the microwave. It's a home freeze dryer. The freeze dry process has been around for a long time, nearly 70 years. It was invented by the U.S. military toward the end of World War II as a way to preserve serums and other medications so they could safely be transported to our troops in Europe. Later, the U.S. began using freeze drying for military meals and for NASA's space program because it preserved all of the flavor, color, and nutrition of the food without the need for refrigeration. And because without all the water in it, it weighs almost nothing. Today, many of our pharmaceuticals we consume are freeze-dried to preserve their potency and extend their shelf life. Freeze-drying also solves the age-old problem of spoiled food. When you use this unit to freeze-dry your own food and you package it properly, the food can last up to 25 years. Even through those many years, your fruits, vegetables, meats, even full meals retain their original taste, nutritional value, their color, and shape. It's hard to tell that any of this food has been freeze-dried. It doesn't shrink or discolor, and It doesn't taste any different than it did the day it was harvested. It's truly amazing. Just looking at it, it's difficult to tell whether or not food is fresh or freeze-dried. Strawberries, avocados, asparagus, apples, raspberries, ice cream sandwiches. It all looks amazing and it tastes just as good.
Freeze-dried bean soup.
Right. Come on.
We gotta feed the soldiers, right? The troops have got to eat, right? Okay.
Get the mic. And this is something that he did.
Wow.
Me and my wife, we jumped out there and we made a little investment into a freeze dryer. And I want to say one of the things that you can do with this, of course, it'll last how long? 25 years, kept in these Mylar bags. So you can just set it over there in the closet somewhere, and 25 years come back and it maintains how much of the nutritional value? Well, the literature says what, 98%. 98% of day one nutritional value. Now, in this right here, we've got the beans that came off of Muhammad's farm, and me and my wife, we do a little gardening here, and so you're getting some good quality product, good and fresh. And so this is one of the avenues that we're hoping to, with Dr. Ridgely's permission, maybe one day include in the Staple Goods Project.
Oh, not maybe.
Not maybe. What's some of the ingredients that you get in this?
We're using.
Bring it up.
Come on.
Bring it up.
Okay, we're using basically the same ingredients that the MGT has been using in our canning class. So it's a nice simple ingredient, but it navy beans, tomato paste, bell pepper, onion, celery, turmeric, garlic powder, sugar, salt, and cayenne pepper. And we cook the soup, and then we freeze dry it.
Now, any questions?
How long is the process?
We also parade as well.
Okay, questions? Well, like what the question is, how much water would you use to reconstitute the soup based on your the consistency that you would like it to be? If you want it to be thick, you just put a little water in it. If you want it to be thin, you just put a little more water. You can get out of this right here, what, 2 to 4 bowls of soup out of this right here. Right. And it's lightweight, easy to carry, good traveling package. Get friends in a nursing home or something like that, which we do, and they get the nutrition. Okay.
Go ahead, the sister.
How much would a unit cost?
The units are pretty pricey. We have the large unit and it was $3,600. But there are other supplies that come with the unit, right, that you have to purchase along with it.
Do you have 6 class or a DVD to show the sisters how?
That's coming. But right now, they've gone down somewhat on the prices, a little bit on the prices since we purchased ours last year. They've gone down.
Now see, there's 2 things in that. There's two things in that. Number one, get some to produce for yourself. Okay.
That's what's
But
happening now.
if we can get enough, then what we can do is we go to China and get it wholesale. Make money off of it. Okay, same thing with the bread machines. So we do stuff like that. Once we get, it's all about now and then we can get the bigger ones and we can actually do it at a farm and do it on a large scale and ship it across the country. But you know, it's simple. It's not rocket science. It's simple, but you got to have an idea and you got to have a will and you got to have a market. Okay, somebody got a question? Yes, ma'am. I get you next. Yes, ma'am.
How is it edible if you don't have water? I saw them freezing fruit and vegetables. How is it edible if you don't have water?
Okay,
No, you got to have water.
yeah.
You got to have water.
What about the fruits and vegetables they were?
You got to have water.
Now with the fruits,
Huh?
excuse me, with the fruits,
right,
We have some fruits here.
Yeah, the way the
So-
process works is that your product is freeze down to, it's frozen, and what you do is put under a condition which will cause the product to sublimate, where it takes the water inside of the food. The only two things that makes water spoil is, make your product spoil is water and air. So what you're doing is you're taking that process, that environment, the vacuum and the freezing, the temperature, you're causing the water to sublimate, to go from a solid to a gas, and the vacuum takes the water out of the system. So that's when a dehydration come in. And to bring it back to life, you just baptize it with a little water.
Now, I know what she asked the question. You said we're in a situation where you can't get the water. I'm sorry, you can't get the water, you're going to die anyway. You got to drink something. You know what I mean?
You will die before you need this.
Right.
But we do freeze-dried fruits, and we freeze-dried many fruits now. Pineapple, apples, pears, strawberries, and bananas. And bananas are beautiful, banana chips, apple chips, pineapple chips. We even did cheesecake, made little cheesecake bites. These are things that you can store in a canning jar, in a mason jar, and they stay fresh for that long. You don't need water to rehydrate those things. You just get them right out of the bag.
Okay. All right, I saw a brother over here first. You asked me a question? Okay, sister. Sister, go ahead.
I want to know, how do you store it? Like, what's the conditions, what temperature? Because I, would only have like my garage to store it.
Perfect.
And it gets hot in the summertime, so what's the conditions?
I would say we can read. I'm not sure on the literature on that, but just like room conditions, just like here, just room temperature.
Yeah, if it ain't got no water in it, you ain't got to worry about it. That's
right.
No water, no air.
Right.
That's why I know when no dead people in no pyramids, you can have water. They had water in the air in the damn pyramid.
Right.
But anyway, no air, no water, you ain't got to worry about it.
So you can put it in the garage if it gets hot?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's why they do it for the military. They've been all types of situations.
That's right.
Yes.
What are the pouches made out of?
These are mylar bags, and also you put an oxygen absorber in the bag to do away with the oxygen that's already in there, and it's sealed. And these are Ziploc, so you can go in and out, but it's sealed.
Okay. We're not going to keep on this because we got another presentation. I know y'all trying to get out doing work. Y'all good for that. I know the game's out there. Y'all won't do no work, so you ask a bunch of questions. But no, we ain't gonna do that. Get y'all to work. See, I done played this before.
Can I hit Brother Lawrence over there?
Real quick, brother, how many different types of storage packages can you utilize?
I thought you would never ask. If you would. Well, what we got now is we just got three different sizes that we're looking at right now. Okay. Exhibit A, B, and C.
This is the quart size, this is the gallon size.
Okay.
Okay, now the prices, we're not gonna tell you the prices because we gotta figure that out.
Right.
In terms of getting through. But it's gonna cost you some money. Right? And that's where the problem stops. That's where the problem starts at. People don't want to pay no money for good stuff. They want cheap stuff and they die behind it, but now y'all gonna have to pay. Okay? If we can't make no money behind it, we ain't gonna distribute it, do the Statement Goods Project. You go to their house and make them a slave, but you ain't coming over here. Now, anything else you do, I have to go. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Give me a hand. I'm around this. Give him a hand because he ain't playing. Okay, sister,
Assalamu alaikum. And happy Savior's Day again. Just briefly. This morning I talked on value-added processing and why we do it and why farmers in general are going to move to that aspect of farming in the future. Now, a couple of things I did not mention. All the time we hear people, when we come up with new products, when are you going to have that in the store? I went to a training at the University of Georgia on starting a new food business in Georgia. I learned some very valuable information. Now, any of you who go to markets where they're giving out samples,
Right.
food, like in Sam's, you can go there sometimes, people go there and eat their whole lunch on samples. Do you know it's not Sam's themselves that's giving those samples? It's that product manufacturer that's doing that. So one of the things that I learned at this training is that when you put your product on the store shelf, it's not the store's responsibility to sell it, it's yours. So you're paying shelf space. You gotta pay insurance. And then you gotta monitor on a constant basis and do all the promotions to sell your product. And it's there on consignment. So don't ask us when we're gonna put our product in the white man's store. We need our own stores, and we can set parameters as to whose product we will accept. If we are a community, like the Amish do, they set their own guidelines as to what products they're going to be marketing and who will market those products. Another thing I learned, I mentioned earlier this morning, I went to, before Sister Majida came to the farm, I was going to get more into baking. But she's a master baker, so now I can concentrate on other things. But before she came, I went to the King Arthur School of Baking. The one thing I wanted to see when I got to Vermont, I said, oh, wow. I told my husband, I said, I'm going to get to see their flour mill. Then we can see how a professional flour mill is set up.
Okay.
If King Arthur, the oldest flour distributor in the country, has a flour mill, I know we can do a mini version of that. So in class, the instructor was asking, well, any questions? I said, yes. What day are we going to go see the flour mill?
Right.
We don't mill flour. King Arthur started by importing flour from Britain, and they still do it today. Muhammad Farms is an anomaly. We are the only distributors of flour that also grow the wheat.
Wow.
And one other point I'm going to make about putting the food on the store shelf. One of the other things I learned, okay, if you want to put it on the store shelf, it's got to be what they call shelf stable. I would have to send samples of my product to the UGA Food Science Department. They will examine all the ingredients. Then they would recalibrate my formula and take out the most expensive ingredient, cut that down, and replace it with chemicals that will make it shelf stable. So do we want that? No. So we are going to have to be the market. And like Dr. Ridgely said, you know, we may have to pay a little bit more, but you're getting more. You're getting products that's going to sustain your life. And lastly, I want to give you my vision of a community on the farm. This is my personal vision. We're going to have homes that Brother Horatio's company is going to build. We're going to have nice recreation facilities. We're going to have an all-purpose community facility where a couple of times a week, all the community members get together and have dinner. We're going to have sisters who are professional, who still want to do their professional work, who go out and do that. We're going to have sisters who stay at home, who provide child care and meals for those sisters. When they come home, you just stop by and get your family's meals. That's my vision of the community that we can live in. And it sounds like heaven to me. I got a little slice of that right now. And I just want you all to have it. So help us make these visions a reality. Try to see that vision. We can have heaven on earth. All it takes is a movement.
That's right.
And as Dr. originally said, that movement is going to happen. But we can make it smoother than it has to be if we keep waiting around. And the last thing I believe our people need is to see us as the Nation of Islam come together in at least one community somewhere. I mean, being in hell.
Come on.
But we're not moving away from it. So what message is that sending to the people? You know, they living next door to white folk just like we are. You know, they talk about white folk, but they ain't moving out. Don't you get tired of us beating that?
Right.
So let's do something about it. Thank you very much. I stand.
Brother Rachel said, "Damn, she gave away the answers to the problem." Okay, Brother Rachel, you next, sir.
In the name of Allah, the King and person of Master Father Muhammad, the name of His exalted Christ, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and their divine reminder in our midst, the Honorable Salute Father, kind of like the Greek. Mighty Nation of Islam, and the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Happy Savior's Day. We did a presentation earlier this morning. We're going to briefly just run through a few key points, and then after that we're going to break up into our session to try to get some group working so you all can get some input on this process. But I was just thinking about something in the Quran. When we was talking about it, I want to say, because we're spiritual people, right? Yes, well, Surah 2:44 says, "Do you enjoin men to do good?" Let me say that. "Do you enjoin men to do good and neglect your own soul while you read the book? Have you no sense?" I heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that in Theology Time. He said it twice. Make sure he brought it home. We have been given insider trader information. Right. God came in person and gave us all the information that everybody else is taking advantage of. And we're sitting around marking time. Right. We're going to stop doing that. Or at least those of us who don't want to do that, we're going to start moving out and doing and acting upon what we've been given. Because we've been given more than any other people. These other community developers don't have what we have. They're not spiritually minded people. They don't have the knowledge of God. They don't eat the way we do. I mean, we have everything that we need except faith. Except faith. And so one thing that helps with faith is you start doing some movement, taking some steps, you get more faith. The more you step, after a while, you see the baby step. After a while, you go to running. Right? Then you go to jump and flip. That's right. So we got to start doing some of that. So again, I want to greet you in great words, peace, love, and just a brief bio, just quickly, because we did this earlier. I don't know how many people are here and how many people came back. I see a lot of faces that came back. My name is Brother Horatio Muhammad. With the Nation of Islam since I actually registered in 1994. So I studied in 1991. You know, we mathematicians, we have to study things to make sure we get it correct. So it took me 3 years before I actually registered. But anyway, my background, I'm a licensed civil engineer, licensed general contractor, home builder. I have about 29 years experience in design and construction. We do everything from homes, you actually design, build homes from the ground up, churches, live well centers, build outs. We do remodeling, additions, depending on what it is. We do that type of work. And so my company is ITNOA LLC. We're licensed in the state of Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and Tennessee. The reason we're licensed in those states because Mr. Farrakhan said when Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi rise up in the South, is all over with. So we felt those were the right states to be licensed in. We can't get licensed in other states if it warrants that.
What would that be? ITNOA.
Okay, ITNOA. Now, of course, a lot of my business is done with white folks. And they asked me that, I said, it's in the name of all of my children. Which it is. But really, it's in the name of Allah. Go ahead. That's what that stands for. Can't always let the enemy know what you think. That's right. Everything is real. Okay, we talked about earlier, what is a community? A community is a unified body of individuals that share common actions, circumstance, interests, place, or practice. It can be urban, suburban, or rural. We're not going to go over that far. We want to get to what we talked about community development. Some of the key points to become more responsible, organize and plan, develop healthy lifestyle, empower themselves, reduce poverty and suffering, create employment and economic opportunities that Dr. Ridge talked about that, achieve social, economic, cultural, and environmental goals. Let me say this too, when you develop in areas, just like in new developing countries, usually the first people on the ground are going to be your engineers, your developers, your construction people with skills, or even people in education. They won't allow you to come even in their country just because you want to be a citizen. They want to make sure you have some type of skill set to add to them. Otherwise, you'll be a burden on the system. So if you're going to move near Muhammad Farm, you shouldn't move unless you have a job. You know, it's an area of jobs in that area that you can do, or you have your own business, or you can create your own. Otherwise, you probably need to come later. So you might want to work on wherever you live. No, I'm just being honest about it. The way you develop. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Just, then you'll be upset and say, I moved down here, and you'll be getting into it with Dr. Reed, and he'll tell you, I didn't have no job for you. Right? Take what Dr. tell you. Okay, so, but anyway, we're going to go through this. Now, effective community development. The natural order of effective community development should be a long-term endeavor. It should be well planned, inclusive and equitable, holistic, and integrated into a bigger picture. Initiated and supported by community members of benefit of community, grounded in experience that leads to best practice. I said a lot there, but one of the key points there is well planned and grounded in experience. Okay? You can't go out and just develop a community you don't have development experience. You need to hire professional people to help in that process. When you see Walmart, these places do development, they hire people to do the development. They sell stuff. They don't develop buildings. So I know sometimes we have a mindset that we know God, so we just go see a building and say, it look nice to me, and buy it. Then we find out we can't do what we thought we could do with it. So we talked about that earlier. Hire people who know how to go through those steps. If you're going to buy land, hire people. Take the time to do your due diligence. And if you don't know, don't be afraid to ask people or tell people you don't know. You need some help. And a lot of times you'll find people might even do it for a reduced price if you're honest about it. And be fair with them as well, because what they have learned, it has value. They've taken time to learn it. You shouldn't try to turn around and get it free. That's not, that's usury, right? So we don't believe in that, right? Now, these are just some quick examples of some communities. This community here is right outside of Montgomery, Alabama. It's called the Waters. And it's basically like a city. It's got houses, it has commercial buildings, it has a bank, it has a dentist office, it has restaurants, coffee shop, YMCA. You see they got a church on the hill. These are some of the, they got different types of what's called mixed development. Some are like condos and townhouses, some are much bigger houses. Some of the houses are like $500,000, some of them are $2 million. They have some that are, it's mixed in. This is one of the commercial buildings right here. You see one that says life coaching. But that's right in Montgomery. If you go out there, you think it's a whole new town. It's a little town within a community. It's not. Wow. We don't have to look at it like getting 8 states at one time. You can't start out with 8 states. That's a vision what Mr. Louis Farrakhan was telling us. But we got to start practicing if we're going to do something. Minister said that if Allah is going to destroy, people ask him if Allah is going to destroy America, why are we wasting our time building restaurants and so forth? And the minister said, well, that's a good question. He said, but until they do, what are you going to do? Sit around and wait on bread to come from heaven? right? So we got to start developing so that when the minister returns or when it's time for us to develop, we will have a model and we will be experienced enough to know how to govern ourselves. And you have to start on a small scale like everything else, and then it grows. So before we start talking, we're going to do 8 states, we need to at least get 8 houses together. Whoa! Right? That's real. Whoa! Earlier, I talked about how the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is to make us ourselves natural again. The experience we've gone through mental slavery, chattel slavery, and integration has made us other than ourselves, and we're not like any other people. So most people do this, they don't have to talk about doing things together, it's just natural. Right. Okay? You see the Mexican come in, I have a lot of labels that are Mexican. They come in, they move in a little area, and it's a nice area for them. The next thing you know, they'll be renting this house and they'll be buying it on. Before you know it, there'll be 10 of them on the street. We laugh, or they all stay together. Right. And now they got dually trucks and bucket trucks and everything else because they all stay together. Now, we're going to have to stop that. You know, we all claim to be believers, and we young FOI, and you're not married. Why everybody got to have their own apartment? Get together. Then you can pool your resources. Well, that's right. Unless you're doing something you got no business. Makes sense. Then let's do the right thing, and we can grow. But if we all gonna be spread out, it's very difficult to do work like this. That's right. Right. Yes, sir. So this is Agritopia. These are some neighborhoods which they call them agri-hoods now. It's like a neighborhood, but it's surrounded by agriculture. So this is one Agritopia. You see these people farming. They got this place here has some like a facility for elderly, but it's also like places for people to rent. I mean, to stay like a kind of like a bed and breakfast as well. Right there on the site. At schools. This is another one near outside of Atlanta. There was a sister here earlier that said she knows where that area is. Is she here? Yeah. But anyway, it's called Serenbe. This is outside of Atlanta, and it's same type of community. So people are doing this all over. It's just we're just kind of slow to move. You know, they're farming. But another thing I want to say about farming from a development standpoint. To me, farming is not just growing food. Farming is everything that comes up out of the earth. Okay, when you see a car, the iron ore, whatever they use, it comes up out of the earth. That's right. Rubber comes out of the earth. So if you're farming, everything is being farmed. The cotton comes up to make these clothes, or the wool come off the animals, which again coming right up out of the earth. So farming can't be just thought of as a limited sense of just food. That's just the base is food, the foundation. Food and water, of course. Okay. And you see they have a bake shop. And these are some of the websites that we mentioned earlier that you can go to see more about these communities. And we talked about steps of community development. We also talked about what does a law community look like. It is righteous, it is all-inclusive of what we have heard so far. It is nurturing and supportive of mind, body, and spirit. It supplies all of our needs. It continues and enhances our spiritual development. It improves the quality of life and prolongs it. It grows us up into God. This is what Master Muhammad came to do, to make us gods again. To make us his brother and his sister. He referred to Elijah Muhammad as brother. Wow. And I think we all could take a lesson from that. If God can refer to one of us as brother, we need to do that with one another. We must always be brothers. And if we are brothers and sisters, then we'll want to be around each other. That's right. Okay? I got to say this. We have to try to get an understanding of the teachings. You know, we seldom find a call. We are calling people. The minister, each of us are called, and we hope that we are chosen. There's a difference. We are calling people, but what are we calling the people for? Sure, we want to resurrect the dead. He said, but that's the first phase. What are you going to do after that? What are you going to do with it? What are you calling people for if you're not going to put them to you to work? If all we have for them is the same old routine, 4 positions, and sell the paper. That's not what it's about. It's about if you're going to call the engineer, then put him to work. You're going to call the doctor, put him to work. Let's get in a better mindset of understanding community development. God didn't come just for us to give people papers. The papers meant to help resurrect the dead. Once we resurrect, we got to do something. Right. So that's what we're going to try to start doing today. Okay? So we talked about preparation for separation. We said belief in one God, study the teaching on the life of Muhammad. The restricted laws of our success. The restricted laws of our success. Start separation process in ourselves first and in our homes. When we start that, if we're already doing that, then we're going to naturally want to get away from those who don't want to be there that way. You don't want to be in that environment. You just can be around that environment. Maybe you got a little bit too much of that in you. If it don't make you sick, looking at the TV and seeing this filth, then we ain't there yet. It should make you sick to see people the way they live. You know, we're looking at the Olympics right now, and I say they make evil fair seeming. You know, they're doing ice skating, and the lady pulled her leg up and went all around the circle. Everything that God tells us not to do, they promote it on Facebook. We look, oh, she's skating. No, she's new in the public. We got to look at it like that. You got to constantly remind yourself of that because they'll want you to sleep. Look at the basketball game, they just shaking.
Yes, sir.
We looking at it. Come on, what LeBron? We got to separate, man, from this. We got to be sick of this. We didn't play this earlier. I wanted to show that little clip right quick and we're going to go into our break. Can you play that? It's a video here, but I don't know how to.
Okay, is it on the flash drive? It should be clicking.
Okay, you got any sound?
Oh, where's the thing? Where's the sound?
The Bible says, oh, you sluggard, study the ant, right? Well, we're going to study a little bit of the meerkat and show you how they do it. Well, we can move on. It's not a big deal. The point, I'll just talk about it. The point of it is, you know, the meerkats, they're always on the lookout, and whenever they see an enemy or something, they go to making a certain sound, and they get everybody together, and the others go in, and that soldier then, he comes in last. Right. And if necessary, he'll fight or give his life to protect the rest of them. That's the way we have to be. You know, the animals are acting in the natural sense. But we must always remember that I don't think we think about enough what really happened to us. You know, we're not natural people. We're very difficult to work with one another, even when we have our own business. When I first opened my business, I thought about enforcing black people, they were going to be happy. That was the worst nightmare I heard. So, and even today, as long as I've been in business, unfortunately, if you're dealing with a Negro, or like our brother Wesley like to say, the nigger, he's harder to deal with than the white man, really. Because the white man got enough sense to say, if I'm paying him some money, he'll act like he likes me and do his job.
Right. You act like it.
He'll act like it. Negro, you paying him and you still don't even say anything. Right. We're going to go into our session. What we're going to do, All right. Is that it? That's it. Okay. So what we want to do right now, we're going to we want to try to break up into some groups. We're not big making circles, but we're going to try to set up, I think 6 groups. Brother Arzo is here. Brother Arzo. Brother Arzo also, he's a licensed civil engineer as well. He's in the nation. in the cluster here, brother. If you and brother Elias, this is one of my sons. He's a recent graduate of Auburn University in mechanical engineering. Let's kind of break them up into 6 groups. 1, 4 this way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And what we're going to do is get in the group. We're going to talk about. I want you all to select a coordinator in that group. And we're going to talk about our vision for our own community. Sister Ann kind of gave a lot of the way out there. Y'all try to cheat off her. But anyway, we want to talk about our vision, what we expect to see in a community, wherever it may be. It's just like brainstorming, really. And then somebody's going to record and write that down. And then we're going to do that for about 10 minutes or so. Then after that, we're going to pass them up. And we're going to let, before we pass them up, we're going to let your coordinator or whoever your spokesperson is tell us, what y'all came up with in the community. And then we're going to pass those up and kind of discuss it, hopefully, quickly.
Okay,
we also want to do that, okay?
Okay, I'm looking here. So this here's got to be a group, so y'all got to get close together on that side. The center, so let's get a group.